at least once a week, most of us feel overwhelmed with our work at office. So I've also gone through the overwhelming time, especially when it is on a Monday. That is real hell. At the sight of this adversity, most of us will be frozen, literally frozen, looking at the pile of things or pile of mess that we have to deal with. So, like a teenager, what do? We just jump into the pile of mess and try to find the simple task in our to do list which we would solve and give us that satisfaction in order to progress the day. But as soon as we are doing it, another problem strikes away immediately. That is the biggest fear of not completing the most important task in the to do list. That takes precedence, and finally, the fear kicks in. As soon as this fear kicks in, what we will do is we'll just go back to our brain and turn on the multitasking switch that is inbuilt in us, and we start juggling more than 2 or 3 items in our to-do list at the same time in order to complete them before the end of the day or the end of the deadline. So as time progresses, what do? We will not complete anything. The to-do list remains uncleared, and finally we end the day with dissatisfaction on ourselves. Today I'll share a simple method which I adopted a few years ago, which has been very useful for me in order to clear my to-do list in a certain way. And I acquired this from another person. He is actually a designer who's working in Qualcomm as well. So let's get to the history. One day when I was working with the designer in the office at Qualcomm, I complained to him that I was feeling overwhelmed with the list of items that I have at hand, and I'm not sure at which order should I have to clear the list of to-do items that I have in hand. So in order to help me out, he got the sheet of paper from me and he added 2 more columns to it. The first column is called as the priority and the next column is called as the time. So what he said was, in the priority column, just put the numbers from 1 to n number of to-do items that you have, and in the column of time, give yourselves a realistic deadline in which you can complete the task. The most important part in this activity is actually the time. The time has to be very realistic. It can be inflated, but it has to be realistic and it should not be underestimated. So let's say if a task takes 2 hours to do it leisurely, don't put time which is less than 2 hours in order to put pressure on yourselves. This is just to trick your brain that there is no sense of urgency in order to complete it. But I'll let you know why this actually helps. The reason why you have to have this inflated deadline or a more realistic deadline is because if you have a very strict deadline, things will again spiral down and you will not clear your to-do list. So once you have your table filled for the day, start clearing it one by one. And as soon as you start clearing the tasks and as soon as you complete your first task of the day, you will actually get a little bit hit of the dopamine, which actually motivates you to complete the next task and then the next task, and then the to-do list clears by itself. So I found this practice to be very useful and I've been following it since 3 years. And also if any new tasks comes by, you can always pick it up and add it to the list and change the number in the priority in order to get it accommodated into your list of to-do items. So since I have been doing it exactly at 10 o'clock every day during the work time, so I've developed a habit around this for over 3 years right now, and I find it very useful and I find the day to be more productive. In order to make it more interesting and easy to track, so what I did was I started using an app called Todoist, which was suggested by one of my friends back in 2019, and I've been using the app for about approximately 3 years now. The reason why I started using the Todoist app is because it allows you to color code your tasks. So what I'll do is I'll color code my tasks based upon the priority. So it has got 4 different colors, which is a red for the highest priority, the orange for the second priority, yellow for the third, and black for the 4th priority, and it goes on. And you can also categorize the to-do list based upon any side projects that you have. Let's say in your office, if you're working on a couple of projects, and you can very well put those to-do lists based upon your projects, and you can create individual projects and push the to-do list based upon that, and you can keep a track of them individually. So You can very well use Todoist, or you can use any other to do apps for that matter, say Microsoft To Do. The reason why I use Todoist is because I actually have it installed across multiple devices like my laptop and my phone, and also my office laptop, and so my to-do list actually gets integrated. So if I just have a to-do entry in my personal laptop, it gets reflected in my phone, and it also gets reflected in my office laptop, and so I can track it across multiple devices. If you are not a digital person who does not like to use an application in order to keep a track of your to-do list, you can also use sticky notes and also use a simple diary as well in order to keep a track of everything. But try to make the list of items that you need to do for the day exactly at the same time so that the habit sticks. This is not just in a professional level. Even my wife and I, we use both Microsoft To Do app in order to list down the list of daily chores that we have to do, and we used to clear it out based upon the priority. You can very well use Microsoft To Do for that as well. So by having a to-do list or a to-do app in order to manage your list of items and giving them a priority and a timestamp in order to complete them, it will make your day much more productive and more efficient in getting things done. Try practicing this for some more days and you will find the benefits of it at the early stages itself. So in order to summarize, as soon as you start your day, get the list of items that you need to do, prioritize them, and clear them one by one with the exact timestamp that you've given it. So I call this method as prioritize and clear. You can call it whatever you want, and color coding them or giving them a priority number actually increases the effectiveness of completing them and takes the stress out of our mind getting overwhelmed by looking at the to-do list. If you adopt any interesting tips or tricks that you follow in order to clear down your to-do list, please put that in the comments, and it will be very useful, and I'll try to share it in the next videos and of course give you the due credits as well. So that's all from me. Peace out.